Pork Chop Express, talking to whoever's listening. Yeah, so it's like I told my wife, I never drive faster than I can see. And besides that, it's all in the reflexes. Yeah, you pay attention to listen up the old Last Minute Man on a dark and stormy night. When you're out there and that 8-foot tall monster looks at you and grabs you by the throat and slams your favorite head right up against that barroom wall. When he looks up at you all cross-eyed and says, have you paid your dues? You just remember what old Last Minute Man says at a time like this. Have you paid your dues, man? You look that sucker right in the eye. Yes, sir. Check's in the mail.
The Last Minute Man, and I am at Mr. Obvious's garage. And what are we doing today, Mr. Obvious?
Oh, we're installing a CB radio in the Roxor.
So, yeah, one of the things that we think, especially at times the way they are now, I don't know, maybe I'm weird, but Mr. Obvious and I believe communication is very important, very valuable. Mm-hmm. So I'm installing a CB in this here Roxor, and Mr. Obvious kind of showed real quick how to put that together. It's not a complicated process. You do have to understand how to set up your SWR, like you were saying. Yep. And if people are really interested in that, we can do a video just on that, how Mr. Obvious sets up the antenna to get the proper frequencies and all that. So, and that's going to vary from vehicle to vehicle, antenna to antenna, yep, whether you're running a home base. So there's a lot involved in that. And I don't know even enough to sound dangerous about it. So Mr. Obvious can explain a lot of it. That's one of the things I wish I'd learned more about when I was in the military. But without any further ado, we'll just get out here and show you real quick the setup after we get done. And then we'll talk a little bit about our theory and philosophy of use here. So stick with us.
Okay, here, Mr. Obvious. So we got the radio installed. Let's show people how we ran it here.
Yep. Alrighty, we got it done. We got our antenna on. We got this SWR set. We run our wiring up through the boot here for won't short out into the frame.
Yeah, and we don't have to drill any new holes that way.
No, we got a fuse on the radio side, and we also put a fuse on the battery side.
Let me bring it around here.
So we had extra tops on the battery, so we'd went ahead and just used that. You know, we could have went in other places. Then we made us a little homegrown fuse holder here.
Yep.
You just take and put them little spade connectors on there and just slide them on there and make you a cheap fuse holder.
And what's great about this, Mr. Obvious, let's show them. Running off the cigarette lighter here. What we call in my day a cigarette lighter. Yeah. And now it's just an input. Yep. But that is reliant or dependent upon the ignition key being on. Yeah. And when you do that, your fuel pump's running and everything else. Yeah. So I wanted this thing wired to where it'll just work by itself.
Yeah.
So there she goes. So she's on and...
Yep, so we got it.
So we're out in the middle of nowhere here, so we're not really picking up much.
Yep.
But anyway, so this will work, and I'll test it out and talk to Mr. Obvious on the road here. But let's get back for an AAR.
All right. And we are back with our after-action report. And what do we have to report today, Mr. Obvious?
We got a report. We got a CB radio in the bug-out buggy.
Yeah, so, we're going to test her out. Actually, on my ride home, I don't live too far away. I'm, as a crow flies, 15 miles, something like that?
Yeah.
So we're going to see how far this thing will reach. There's things you can do to a radio to maximize your performance and stuff in them, and Mr. Obvious kind of tunes radios and does that, so that'll work out really good for me. I'm excited about that, being able to communicate with him from my house. I will eventually have a base station set up, and he's going to help me with that as well. I've got another radio for that. But, Mr. Obvious, tell us, how important is communication?
Oh, man, it's pretty important. I mean, everything goes down. You lose your cell phones and everything. Grid's down, your electric's down. You can take mobile radio and you can transmit a long ways. If you're set up right, you got maybe some kind of power backing it. But, it's very important. If you can't communicate on you're
Yeah.
you know,
When old Trusty goes down,
you're down.
and they will. You can go to Mr. Reliable over here, and as long as you got a power source, you're transmitting.
You can your base station. A lot of them you can run off battery, or you can yank it right out of your mobile, hook up a battery in the house, and transmit off a base antenna.
And I can tell you, and again, I know less about this than I should. I wish I'd have paid more attention. But what I can tell you is, in a situation where all communication is down, okay, so satellites are taken out of the sky, various things happen. As long as you've got a power source and can transmit, you can at least get out there to anybody who's listening.
Yeah.
And, if there's anybody in your area that's doing it now, also realize an enemy could be listening. So you don't really have the capability of narrowing who's listening, but you can also listen to chatter around you as well. So it can be very beneficial for you to know what's going on, if people need help, if you need help,
Yeah, you can give codes out, secret words, secret numbers or something, and channel hop. You be talking on channel 5 and give out your buddy a code, and that means go to channel 12 or channel 30, or then you can talk there a few minutes, give another code, hop to another channel.
Yeah.
That'll break up nobody tracking you.
So, I think it's abundantly important to have communication, to be able to check on your friends that are close. You can set these things up. Like Mr. Obvious has this ham operator's license, and he can set up ham radio. You can talk pretty much all over the world, right? Yeah. So he can go everywhere. But for me, or a guy like me, what I'm concerned about is being able to communicate with the network of friends and family that I have close by. And Mr. Obvious is the closest person I have to me that, we kind of are on the same wavelength and have a plan and what we would do. And we've got other people involved in that as well. But, we're kind of looking at this. I need to know what's happening on this side of the county, and he can know what's happening on my side.
Yeah.
So it's a good thing.
Yep. Got to have it. Things go down. You still got communication. You ain't going to have it on your phones and computer. It's probably down. You ain't going to send an email to your buddy.
No, that's all over. Yeah.
It's over.
And it can happen like that, you know?
Yeah. So,
I mean, whether it's the government might do it themselves. I know on military bases overseas, if somebody in your area of operation have been injured or killed, they could do a blackout. So pretty much cell phones or anything didn't work. So I was out there, I had a sat phone, and where we were, and believe it or not, you weren't allowed to communicate. I could get out if I had to, but they could pretty much blanket everything out, and they did that for various reasons, mostly because it's a horrible thing if a family member back home hears it from Private Snuffy that their soldier didn't make it. So there's a way that you have to go about doing those things. So they had to do blackouts. And they can do that, and they're very capable. Let's put it that way. Yeah. So sometimes the government may shut down communications to keep things from getting hectic. Put out their own broadcast, and they won't want misinformation out. So your TV may only be broadcasting government information. Your computer may be limited to only government access, government information that they want you to know, whether it's hunker in place, and they'll have a repeat message going. But if you've got a radio, you can pick up what everyone else is saying. So, whether it could be bad information, but information nonetheless.
Yeah, and start to panic, you'll find out what's really going on around you. So.
Or and again, you being the mature, clear-thinking person that you're supposed to be in this situation, you can kind of discern what for yourself. I personally, I know BS when I hear it, and I'm sure everybody else does too.
Yep.
And you can discern what and go through the information yourself. But that's pretty much all I have to say about that. Yeah. But I think it's an important thing to have. And I'm fortunate to have a guy like Mr. Obvious who really knows his stuff. And I took classes on comms and everything when I was in the military, and I just learned what I had to learn to get through. And because that wasn't my primary focus. We had a commo guy, right? Well, I'll give you a story. We were overseas. We were moving at night, obviously, in a convoy. And, well, our radio went down. Well, we knew comms were down about 5 minutes before, and this was an RG-31. It was about 5 minutes before that RG-31's engine overheated, and we were broke down. And kind of, they ran off and left us, and we were in the back of the pack. And we're like, all right, does anybody know how to reprogram this thing? You know, we lost everything. The comms went out, and so we had handheld radios. We were able to get through to an emergency channel, thank God, and the QRF came right out. We were fine. But let me tell you, that's a scary feeling, though. Mm-hmm. When you're out there, and I was in the gun, I'm looking around, it's dark, you know, you got a canyon on this side of you, and okay, you know, you kind of just
no backup. Kind of a sit and duck situation.
Suddenly, that entire terrain looked different, you know, to me, and I had night vision and everything, but it was scary, you know, because you were out there just a sit and duck, you know, you just floating aimlessly. But that was one of those situations where I thought, darn it, I should have paid more attention and learned more about comms because we didn't have a radio guy with us. So, and we were operating, it was a little different. I won't go too much into that. But anyway, very important. Learn as much as you can. I'm trying now. I've got a very good teacher, and he's forgot more about it than I'll probably learn. But either find somebody that knows what they're doing or teach yourself because information's out there.
All kinds of stuff on YouTube about it. Mm-hmm. You know, I do a lot of radio repair, but I don't get into a lot of stuff I do on them. But it's, you can, there's a lot of stuff you can do if you teach yourself or work with somebody. But I've done both.
You can maximize the potential of these radios if you know what you're doing. Mm-hmm. So, but with that, everybody, remember, keep your knives sharp, keep your powder dry.
Subscribe to Last Minute Man and watch us on
Rumble.